We're definitely early adopters when it comes to motorcycles. I bought one of the very first Yamaha Tenere 700s in Canada and received it at the end of the summer in 2020. And the next year, my wife Brooke got her Honda CRF300L Rally in early summer, again one of the first in Canada. And we had some great times on those bikes. But alas, all good things come to an end. And although I'm keeping my T7, Brooke has elected to sell her Rally. Why? Well, in this video we'll discuss the positives and negatives of this bike, what bike we wanted to replace it with, and why we ultimately decided to scrap the whole plan with Brooke quitting riding altogether. Yes, I said it. So stay tuned for the whole story, and if you're enjoying this channel, please consider subscribing, giving this video a like, and sharing it with friends. First, let's just get this out of the way. The Honda CRF300L Rally is a great motorcycle. Check out my playlist on it in the top right corner. When it was first introduced as the 250L Rally, it was one of the few dual sports that could be bought stock from the factory with a decently large tank and adventure bike-like weather protection. And when Honda upgraded it to a 286cc to be exact, it gained power, torque, better highway cruising and hill climbing ability, even a larger tank, and despite the fact that it held more fuel, it lost weight. And that's when we decided to buy one of the first ones to be sent to Canada. Well, it didn't disappoint. This bike is truly unique because it straddles the line between the off-road capabilities of a dual sport and the comfort and range of an adventure bike. There are a lot of things this motorcycle does well. First, it looks the part. Look at it, it's definitely got that rally styling. Long travel suspension, 21 and 18-inch wheels, 10 inches of travel and ground clearance, this bike is properly capable off-road. I'd go as far as to say that for a mortal like me, this is the most off-road capable adventure motorcycle on sale in North America still. Yes, Paul Torres can go crazy on a T7 and KTM's riders can rip around on their 890s like they're riding motocross, but regular people will never ride these big bikes like those guys. However, on this bike you can actually go a ways off the beaten path and run it over fairly rough terrain. It weighs 339 pounds wet, a bit more than the average dual sport because of the big tank and fairing, but less than the other small adventure bikes. And it has big wheels that can take proper off-road tires. Additionally, it's got good weather protection, a surprisingly comfy seat, and a decent range with a 12.8 liter tank. Both I and Brooke have ridden a good long way on this thing and found it a very good touring companion. It also has ABS that you can turn off on the rear wheel and a pretty reasonable price for a bike like this, $6,700 US or $8,700 Canadian with all the freight and other fees paid. Finally, there are a ton of accessories from numerous online shops available. You can armor it up, outfit it with bags, increase the power, upgrade the suspension, even lower it like we did for Brooke. One thing about Hondas, there are so many of them they're worth making accessories for. That is not to say that this motorcycle is flawless. The stock setup definitely needs more power. 27 horsepower is more than enough off-road, but on the highway, this bike realistically hits 130 km per hour on the flat. Hit a steep hill and it's way less than that. Additionally, if you ride it 2 up, and we have on the very hilly Trans-Canada Highway near Lake Superior Provincial Park, and in the Rockies no less, you'll struggle to get up the hills without dropping below the speed limit. You can address this shortcoming by getting an FMF exhaust and an ECU, but that'll cost you. The suspension, while having the longest travel of any adventure motorcycle produced by a major manufacturer, is basic. It has adjustable spring preload on the rear shock and that's it. And the springs are soft. On the road you get a good deal of fork dive under braking and corn ring stability is decent but definitely a bit loosey-goosey. The big front wheel and long travel suspension mean that this is not exactly a bike for carving the twisties. Off-road, the overly soft suspension, while absorbing the rough terrain nicely, is a bit too soft and bouncy at higher speed. This motorcycle is best when tackling hard terrain slowly. You definitely don't want to do an actual desert rally race with this suspension or hit a set of whoops at high speed. Finally, there were a couple of things about the Rally that are not necessarily faults, but that Brooke, as the primary rider of the bike, wasn't crazy about. First, out of the box, the Rally was way too tall for her. The seat was listed at 35.2 inches, but when I measured it unladen, it seemed taller. We had the seat shaved down and I installed a Kuba link to drop the seat height so that Brooke could almost flat-foot it. Check out that video in the top right corner. However, with that larger tank, the bike was still pretty top-heavy, and while Brooke rode it for a while and tackled some off-road terrain on it, she was always a bit uneasy. She never really rode seriously rough trails, that's just not the kind of riding she enjoyed. And then I tested the new to Canada Honda Trail 125, and she fell in love with it. It was light, easy to move around and handle, and still had enough off-road capability for the kind of riding Brooke wanted to do. So we decided to sell the Rally and get a Trail 125, and I decided to get a more dedicated enduro bike and picked up a used Yamaha WR250F. There were no Trail 125s left in dealers anywhere in the province of Ontario, so we were forced to wait until next year. We sold the Rally intending to pick up a Trail in the spring, and then we went and got ourselves pregnant. So that obviously means no riding for Brooke next season, and probably not the season after that either while the little tyke is so young. After that we'll see. I'm already eyeing possible options. So we're excited about the future and looking forward to adding another little rider to the family. As for Brooke, it'll be a while, and when she gets back into it in a few years, we'll have to find her a new ride. Maybe a Trail or a Sur-Ron, who knows. And of course we'll miss the Rally. It's a great bike, it just didn't fit our immediate needs right now. But we certainly have had a great time on it, from riding local single track to exploring the logging roads and trails in Algonquin Park in central Ontario, to even riding some of the most scenic places in the Rockies in Alberta. We're just happy that the guy who bought it is an enthusiast who, incidentally, intends to use it to build more trails. Awesome. Funny how life changes sometimes. On to a new chapter, and we're both looking forward to it. Brooke will be back, but it'll be a while. Thanks for watching, and may the spokes be with you.